Literally within the first 10 pages, I just wrote back, I'm doing this, I'm gonna finish reading it, but I'm absolutely doing this.
Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for Broadway World. Caroline, Aaron, and Matt Doyle are returning to the New York stage, starring in Matthew Lombardo's new comedy, Conversations with Mother. It's directed by Noah Himmelstein, and they begin performance on February 7th at Theater 555, and I caught up with all of them here at the legendary Sardi's.
I never expected to write this play. About 10 years, I was talking to my mother, and I hung up, and I was like, people would not believe the stuff we talk about. And so I went on Facebook, and I posted the conversation. And people just responded to it. And so after I would have another conversation with my mother, I would post it. And this went on for a couple years. And, my friends were saying, oh, you should really write a play on this. And I thought, I'm never going to write a play about my mother. But then one night I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and it clicked. I figured out how I can write this play where it's not all linear and it's just a series of snapshots and exchanges over a 6-year relationship.
Welcome back to the stage. How does it feel?
It's pretty exciting, but I'm working for a living. I'm pretty tired, I can tell you that. It's very exciting, though, and very challenging. What could be more fun than that?
When you first got Matthew's script, what made you say, yes, I want to do this?
What made me say yes was that the character went from 37 to 77, so it was over a lifetime of being someone's mother. And watching them grow up and have how that relationship evolved and yet never changed. It's like I remembered when I first got this script, and I didn't understand it till I read the script. When I was in college, I'd had some big fight with my mother, who knows what it was about, and she sent me an article from the newspaper in Richmond, Virginia, where I grew up, and the article's title was How to Be a Childless Mother, and it was about the fact that I was no longer a child, but you don't know how to turn that spigot off. You're still a mother, and your children are like, back up, you know what I mean? Back off. I don't need you to do that anymore. And you go, but I'm still your mother. I can't help it. You will always be that to me. And that's sort of what his script is about, is that no matter how old and successful he gets, that's her baby. And I think that's okay.
Literally within the first 10 pages, I just wrote back, I'm doing this, I'm going to finish reading it, but I'm absolutely doing this. Matthew's wit, Matthew Lombardo, our wonderful writer, his wit is just so familiar to, I think, the comedy in my own household, and I recognize these characters, and I wanted to tell the story of the relationship between a mother and a gay son, because that is something very specific. It's not something that we see a lot in media told very, very specifically, and I just was so drawn to their love and their bond, and it's something that I know my own family doesn't even understand. My sisters talk about it all the time. I can't tap into that. I don't know what it is. I don't know what you guys have. I can't figure it out, but there is something really special between that bond and between a mother and a gay son, and we get to celebrate that and recognize that friendship.
It's just the two of them. And, we've got these 12 scenes that we're working on together, and we're mining all of the spaces in between, the vibrational sort of essence between this relationship. That's kind of what it's about. It's about two people and how they grow and need each other over time, and how they dig too deeply into each other's lives, and how they push each other away. And it just happens to be a mother and son over 50 years. So these two actors, it's extraordinary. I'm so lucky that we have them, and to grow with them during this upcoming preview process and run. It's funnier and deeper than I could have imagined.
I'm playing Maria, and what I love about her is she's an Italian mother who makes no apology for her passions. She says constantly in the play, I was a good mother to you. I'm a good mother to you. She's reviewed her own self, going, I'm very good at this job of being your mother. And she's passionate, and she is unreasonable. She makes a lot of mistakes, but everything in this play, I think, springs from the heart. It's unapologetically full of heart. And I think we live in a time right now where we don't really get to sort of sink into that part of ourselves very often.
I love Bobby because Bobby acts out of passion when it comes to everything in his life. He seeks different things to fall in love with. He seeks different things to motivate him and inspire him. And sometimes that leads to destruction because he never stops to think about it. And I find a lot of similarities between me and him, you know, and it leads to a very destructive path for him, and one that I think is just a phenomenal story for Matthew to be able to tell after years of you know, personal battles of his own. And I was really just so enamored by the fact that all of it, even his struggles, comes out of love, comes out of wanting to be validated, wanting to be seen, and wanting to be loved. And that kind of story and all of the struggles that he has, they're so beautiful because they did come out of good intentions, you know? And I think that that's an important story to tell, is sometimes we see people struggling with addiction or struggling with, you know, abuse, and you judge them immediately and think, how could you possibly get there? But to understand that it all comes out of wanting to be validated is really special, and I think really important to humanize.
You know, the play deals with the universal themes of love, loss, forgiveness, acceptance, ambition, reconciliation. It's everything. Everyone will be able to relate to this play because we all have mothers, or we all have a son, or we know someone like a Bobby Calavecchio, or we know someone like a Maria Calavecchio.